What's up, Briggs Accomplice here, back with another video. This time, I'm gonna do complete, in-depth, non-obsidian bullshit discussion, guide, whatever you want to call it. Everything you need to know about Earth. So, the Earth power set. A little backstory, just so people know where it came from. Earth was launched as a DLC power and DLC back for Battle for Earth. I believe that was DLC 3. Back then, it was the absolute most garbage power in the game and took many, many years for the devs to finally do something about it. It's still not overpowered in either tanking or damage. There are more versatile tanks. The tanking side is pretty reliable though, and basically there's two ways to go about it. There's brick tanking and aftershock tanking. So with brick tanking, you have a golem brick that you can summon, and he will take a portion of incoming damage. However, your defense is not buffed, and when brick dies, there is a vulnerability window. Sorry about that. Um, and the vulnerability window is usually not a big issue, but in certain content and certain circumstances, like one example of not being able to do much about it is like if you have a whole bunch of ads attacking you, like just non-stop, and you go through your shields and brick dies in the time that it takes to resummon him. If they do enough damage to overwhelm you, then you will die. Not really anything you can do about that. That's up to the healers to shield you and all that good stuff. The basic strategy when you're brick tanking, it can change from depending on what content you're doing. So my rule of thumb is that if the content's really, really, really hard, then you should save your shields for when brick dies and try and prevent him from dying if you can by either blocking, turtling for a bit, which will take some damage off him and place it more on you, or drop a supply drop underneath him. However, he doesn't like to cooperate with a supply drop. Like usually he'll float away and get out of range out of it, so I wouldn't depend on that. Also, the cooldown is super, super long. And another tip, if you're gonna brick tank, Totem is the most garbage power in the game. It's completely useless. It heals for like 500s or whatever, if that, and there's no burst heal, there's no other effect to keep Brick alive. It can juggle enemies, but that's once every like 40 seconds or whatever the cooldown is. Super long cooldown. So it's a complete garbage power that needs a complete overhaul. It's useless. Keep it out of your loadout. The loadout that I would run for Brick is Earthen Grip, Soothing Sands, Gemstone Shield, and Brick, of course, and Hard Light Shield. That's pretty much it. And like I said, if Brick's about to die, then you want to shield yourself to ensure that you counteract the vulnerability window and resummon him. And you should be good. Certain bosses and stuff will just catch you. Another thing too to be wary about is that when you run Brick, there's a glitch in the game that if your group wipes and you die, let's say, and you go back into the fight and resummon Brick, his health bar won't be on your screen. So you have to pay attention to your power tray, and if you don't, then you might get caught off guard and get bodied. So that's probably the worst thing about the Brick loadout. Another thing with the Brick loadout is that it actually does take a significant amount of damage off you. If you'll notice right now, I'm Aftershock tanking in old content, and once in a while I'll get hit pretty hard. So that's something to be wary about, but I'll get into that in a second. So to stay on the brick subject, brick takes more damage, is an easier way of tanking. The only skill element is basically being able to PvP bosses and get as many counters as you can and be able to resummon brick. And another tip I have is if you see my utility belt, you'll notice that I am running a breakout trinket that is quite useful, especially for the brick loadout. Because another tip that I have for you earth tanks is that if you know brick's gonna die, then you want to try and use your breakout. That way you're not gonna get stunned or get knocked out of resummoning brick, because even if you're in the act of summoning, you should be able to take almost any amount of damage that the game has for you, and elite content and stuff, so you'll be good. Um, what mods would I run for tanking? It's just fortified assault, and then the one that makes your gemstone shield cool down faster, the back one. For your chest, if you plan on battle tanking and stuff like that, then run like core strength or extended supercharge, because really a few thousand health points isn't gonna make or break you, and it's not gonna keep you alive in elite content. Only healers can do that, and shield rotating will do that as well. It'll keep you alive. Um, Another quick tip is that you wanna wait till your shield is about half your hard light shield if you're going to use that one, and then use gemstone after that. The thing about gemstone is that it's probably the best shield in the game, as long as you don't get knocked out of using it. That's even though it says usable while controlled, you can still get interrupted. I don't know how that works, but it happens. So gemstone is a really awesome shield, and it almost lasts the duration of its cooldown, except in certain situations where the damage is either enough to overwhelm it or break it on summoning, which then you're probably screwed if that happens. So now on to Aftershock tanking. Oh, another thing, I know that the video and the loadout that I'm talking about don't quite match, but that's fine. You get the idea. You'll see brick tanking later in the video. So for Aftershock tanking, my initial thoughts was that it was absolute garbage, and that, to be honest, it still is, but it's not. It's workable. It's just it's got some issues, like the 55% defense buff that you get from the shoulders, the rock shoulders, is definitely not equivalent to what brick absorbs, and I don't know why that is. I would have thought that the so-called legitimate way of tanking for Earth would be stronger, but brick is the stronger absorption currently. The good thing about aftershocking, obviously, is that your shoulders can't be killed where brick can be, so that vulnerability window kind of disappears in a way. You are slightly more squishier, so that's unfortunate, but when you get the 55% defense buff, I think your shields are slightly stronger. That's what I've noticed, that they can take a little bit more damage, and really the only reason that I am taking damage in this video right here is because I'm getting like interrupted and knocked down and stuff. Like usually you don't take too much damage. I've been able to solo tank King Shark and Elite, and I wasn't able to do that with Brick, which is another thing that I'll get to later in the video. But for aftershocking, it's not too bad. You just have to rotate your shields carefully, and you got to be a little bit quicker because sometimes your health will drop unexpectedly, and that's due to I don't know, to be honest, but sometimes your health will go down a lot, um, even with the defense buff activated. So for the Aftershock loadout, it's pretty simple. You run Soothing Sands for your breakout, Earthen Grip. Um, if you see there, I'm running Amazonian Deflect. I really don't ever use it unless I'm in Elite, and uh, that's just so that if I somehow burn through both the other shields, I at least have one more thing to do before I get bodied. Yeah, Gemstone Shield, Jackhammer, Hardlight Shield. That's the Aftershock loadout. The things that I really like about it is it's really good for kiting or ad control, because you can just bounce the ads up over and over and over again, and then uh, chrono emit them and stun them until you can juggle them again. The thing is, you can also run Jackhammer with Brick, but then if Brick dies, you still have that vulnerability window. Um, and I don't know why, but Aftershocking feels more legit. Like, when you're tanking with a pet, it's kind of easy mode or lazy mode. Even in elite situations, like Aftershocking makes you feel kind of like a real tank. I don't know if that's just me. So I've been kind of practicing more and more with it. The only place that I can't see it working would be in PvP boss mechanic scenarios. So, for example, in the last boss of Crown Elite, when you have lots of bosses that will stun you and lunge you and PvP you, basically, you kind of need the ability to turtle. Maybe that's possible with Aftershocking. I haven't really tested it, to be honest. I just don't think that. I think Brick is an easier way to PvP the bosses, so to farm immunities and counters and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, but Aftershocking, you can use it pretty much everywhere in the game. Probably you could use it on the last boss too. I just haven't figured out how you can block and Aftershock when you need to. So there's that. And I don't think I've missed everything. I think that's pretty much everything for earth tanking. Any other tips? I think that's everything. Alright, thanks for watching the video. I hope it was informative. And fuck you, Myers. Fuck you, Divine Adam. Fuck you, Obsidian Chill. You egotistical piece of shit. Alright, cool. I'm out. Peace.